Today, I'm gonna cry millennial. Okay, there's a new word being coined right now by the media called quiet quitting. It's this new trend of just doing the bare minimum in order to not get fired from your company. You know, because millennials are the generation that knew better and still walked off the cliff, okay? Millennials was the generation that were told, hey, these student loans are probably a scam. You can just Google. Google's free. But majority of us went to college anyway. Not me, okay? I went the Google route, okay? So sometimes it's hard for me to feel bad for millennials because it's like, bruh, literally, Google is free. And I remember being in high school with people going, bruh, Google is free. And I'm almost 30 now, and it's still, bruh, Google is free. But I guess I'm just built different, okay? Like, I don't need to be told what to do because I can Google on how to solve my problems. Enough for me. Enough for me. Let's feel bad for millennials right now, okay? There's a new word being coined, quiet quitting. And let's see where all the millennials are quiet quitting by watching this video by CNBC called How Quiet Quitting Became the Next Phase of the Great Resignation. Let's cry millennial tears.
This is one example of quiet quitting.
Now, even though I didn't go to college, I still had corporate positions. I still worked at these big Fortune 500 companies. I just lied on my resume. Nobody ever checked if I really went to college. I didn't. I went to the school of hard knocks, baby, for free. Don't have any student debt. I'm so happy. When I did have these corporate positions and when I did have a supervisor where I had to do things like this, you know, if I replied back with, sorry, I don't check work stuff after 5, my supervisor would just, at 9 a.m. the next day, would tell me that I don't have a job anymore. Like, in the real world, you still gotta put in the extra effort. You know, that's why they used to give us homework, okay? They didn't do that so that you can keep learning once you're outside of school. No, they did that because of things like this.
A trend that has been dominating social media and especially TikTok. In July, Zaid Khan, a 24-year-old engineer from New York, posted a video about quiet quitting, and it went viral. Since then, the trend has spread like wildfire with hashtags like quiet quitting, quitting, and quieting.
Does anybody want to work anymore?
Then the mainstream media began covering it.
Like working overtime? No thanks. Late night emails? Ignore those.
The world is changing and the way of work is changing. Even people saying, I'm not going back to the office. And if I do, I'm definitely quiet quitting until I find a job that is a lot more flexible.
Yeah, that's what everybody was doing even before. Wait, so you mean to tell me that every other millennial out there thought that once you get a job, like that's it, like I'm stuck here for life? What is wrong with people? Nah, bro, you can quit. You can go work wherever you want. That's the beauty of being alive. You're not committed to no business. Oh, but I guess they got you guys by the balls with that loan, huh?
COVID was the ultimate reset. COVID was that moment where people started to ask a bigger question. What do I want for my life? Do I want to continue working the way that I have? Or do I want something different? Do I want to continue to work, which is awesome, but do I also want to be able to enjoy my family? Do I also want to be able to enjoy my life? So I think all of these things are coming in stages, and I think quiet quitting is just the trend that's come as a result of the ultimate reset, which is COVID.
Well, that's a little bit scary because like those things are not new. People had families before. People enjoy their families even though they had to work. Why are they making it seem like you working hard hours, you being a grinder? Why are they making it seem like this is the most overworked generation of all time? This is a generation that never had to experience any work at all. You know how easy it is to be alive these days? Like not even 50 years ago, you might get a nosebleed and bro, that's it, you're dead. I had my very first nasal infection at 24. And I had this realization where I was like, bro, if I had a nasal infection in the 1800s where I would have to be a chimney sweep, that's it. I'm dead.
Millions of Americans quit their jobs in 2021, some for better opportunities, some for a career break. The pace of quitting continued well into 2022. This chart tracks job openings and labor turnover in the US economy, JOLTS for short.
We do think that quiet quitting is part of the Great Resignation story, so it fits into the general story of having a high level of quits over the past year and a half, and certainly a very tight labor market. And in that type of a labor market, it makes a lot of sense that workers may not be willing to work as hard as they have in the past because it's very easy to get alternative employment.
So I guess what you guys gotta start doing is you guys just gotta stop hiring. That would solve this tomorrow. Because let me tell you, apparently using Google is hard.
For me, my last time quiet quitting was 5 years ago. I used to be in tech sales. What I did was work less. I wasn't putting in the 40 hours anymore. I wasn't giving in to the drama anymore. I wasn't giving into work gossip anymore. I wasn't answering emails or texts or Slack messages,
Even though it's millennials and Gen Zers who are actively talking about it on social media, quiet quitting has been happening amongst Gen Xers, which I'm part of the Gen Xers, for the better part of 2 to 3 years.
This is some revolutionary information. So people don't want to work hard? I'm shocked. I'm flabbergasted. Who would have ever thought, bro? Who would have ever thought that people don't want to work? People just want to be handed things and like go on vacations without stopping. Who would have ever thought, bro? Who would have ever thought that people want to live their lives? They're saying this like it's like, no duh.
In the US, quiet quitting could also be a backlash to hustle culture, the 24/7 startup grind popularized by figures like Gary Vee and others.
I think it is almost direct resistance and disruption of hustle culture, honestly. And I think it's exciting that more people are doing it.
All you're really doing is moving out of the way for the competition. Gary Vee is just gonna outwork you, honestly. He's gonna stop sleeping and he's gonna get like 5 different jobs that all of these quiet quitters could have, and then he's gonna go to a garage sale and buy a baseball card from the income that he made from these 5 jobs because he eliminated sleeping from his schedule. You see, sleeping is a waste of time because it's 8 hours out of your day, bro. That's 8 hours you could be out there hustling. I mean, I do feel them on that. Like, I definitely got suckered into this hustle culture when I was in my early 20s. And I mean, it paid off. Like, I don't think there's anything that I can't accomplish, and I know how to motivate myself and to be my own boss. And if I didn't go through that hustle toxic culture in my early 20s, then I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now, would I now? No, I would have to go to college and get in debt. But not the same type of debt that's like credit card debt. Like, at least with credit card debt, you can file for bankruptcy, So like that debt can go away. It's bad debt, but there's ways out of it. Your student loan debt that you got is the only way to get out of it is by jumping in front of a car. I don't recommend doing that. I recommend you paying off your debt, but yeah, you can't file for bankruptcy. That's a red flag, right? Aren't we all about red flags in a generation? Shouldn't that have been major red flag? If you Googled, then you would know that would be a major red flag. I mean, it's so funny now that Google is even offering like certificates, like work certificates that you can then put on your resume if you don't feel like lying. Which the resume system is another bullshit thing. Like, you can just lie. You can literally go on LinkedIn and type in any position that you could fantasize that you might want in the future. Like, you could say that you're the CEO of Apple and nobody on LinkedIn would stop you. Even though we all know it's Tim Cook that's the CEO of Apple. You could be the CEO of Apple on LinkedIn if you really wanted to. And I guarantee you people would try to pitch you and they would try to get you to accept deals for Apple. Because my LinkedIn says that I'm the CEO of Olive Garden, and I get pitched all the time.
Employee engagement also appears to be declining. A recent poll from Gallup showed employee engagement in the US dropping for the first annual decline in a decade, dipping from 36% engaged employees in 2020 to 34% in 2021.
Disengagement, not being engaged, that's affecting the productivity. Mentally, they're just not there, and they really aren't giving it their all anymore. And they are just trying to stay under the radar, and they are disengaged. That's very much going to impact productivity.
I just don't understand what you expect them to do. They want to enjoy their lives. They weren't born to be slaves to your company. And I love how it's a bunch of like gray hair people giving us the explanation about what quiet quitting is and why it's happening. It almost feels like they're not reaching the numbers that they're supposed to reach to their supervisors that are like 105 years old, because evil people just don't die. And it's like they're coming up with whatever. Right? Like just whatever. Here's the reason why I didn't reach my corporate numbers to appease my overlords, because the people that are working underneath me are a lot younger. That's not it, they can't take blame that they suck at their job. So they come up with terms like quiet quitting. It's not my fault. It's the younger generation just isn't committed. They want to live their lives, bro.
I do think quiet quitting is a part of the Great Resignation. People are so burnt out. We've just gone through and are still going through a pandemic. We are recognizing that life can be so fleeting and so short, and we want to spend it doing something we love. And that doesn't mean work has to be our dream job. I think that myth of the dream job is slowly or rapidly dying.
People that shut down their laptop at 5 want that balance in life, want to go to the soccer game, 9 to 5 only. They don't work for me. I can tell you that.
Ooh, my man Kevin O'Leary said, if you're going to work for me, I need you there 25 hours a day. Because I don't know how much he's worth, but I'm assuming it's in the hundreds of millions. If not, he's a billionaire, right? Like, let's keep making more money, okay? Like, why should we ever stop making money? Like, at some point, do you ever get tired? Do you ever not think that it's, like, who am I racing against? Can we please bring back the economy of creating art? Okay, can every one of us be a content creator? Is that what's gonna have to happen in order for everybody to be happy? Because at some point, a lot of millennials are gonna have to realize that if you wanna go vacation in Cabo, you gotta put in the work at your job, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a lot of friends in real life that are grinders, that do put in the time of day at their job and that really give a about their career. But I'm on the quiet quitter side. I quiet quitted when I was 15 from society. I just couldn't do it.
Labor demand remains red hot in 2022. That's despite the looming risk of a recession. An economic downturn could make quiet quitting a short-lived trend.
Well, if the labor market were to turn, you'd imagine that quiet quitting would become less of a phenomenon. Well, the risk if you're a quiet quitter is that the economy would slow and you could find yourself in a situation where you're in a job where you haven't been given the most effort that you can, and it puts you at a disadvantage in terms of moving forward at that job. If others have been giving more effort, they're more likely to have greater job security than otherwise. So certainly as the labor market slows, and if we were to go into a recession, could potentially put those workers at a disadvantage.
How funny would it be though if the recession hits and both of y'all get fired? Then you're double L. Because not only did you miss out on your family or whatever you missed out on, you also got the same treatment as the guy that didn't put in enough effort. So that's the catch-22.
In addition to talking to thousands of employees per year, I talk to thousands of leaders per year, all the way from your supervisor all the way up to your C-suite CEOs. And I will tell you that they are bothered by this trend because it speaks one of two things. One, we have employees who are doing their job, but they're not going above and beyond. Two, what have we done as an organization to these employees to make them feel like they can't give their best effort?
You don't pay them enough. That's really what it is. You don't pay them enough. If you paid them more, this wouldn't be a problem. What are we doing wrong? Like, please, guys, come work for us. Like, please work harder. Like, we're trying to grow the company. But you ain't paying me. Simple economics, my dudes. I thought you went to school.
We're evolving as a culture. We're evolving as a people, and the workplace is evolving, and we need to be okay with it. Because it's the same concept for me as people saying, just because I didn't have it means you shouldn't have it too. You should have to work hard.
Yeah, I used to have this theory because I don't know how old you are, but like growing up, you weren't allowed to plagiarize off of Wikipedia. You had to show your sources. And I had this theory that the only reason my teachers give such a about the sources. Fucking 15-year-old kids, bro. Come on. You got them looking at sources? Anyway, the only reason my teachers give such a about the sources was because they were just angry that Google wasn't around, and they couldn't just type in like, hey, what was the life of so-and-so? And in 3 seconds be done. No, they had to go to the library and like really look at books and like open them up. And they didn't have no Control F where they can find keywords and then get the paragraph that they needed. No, they had to sit there and read every word. So they're upset. They're a generation that's very angry, and they're just passing down that negativity down to us. But like, I'm just saying like, kapoo, yapa, like deflect it back at them. Like just use their own terminology against them. That's what I do. Every time I get into a fight with an old person about how my generation doesn't work hard enough, well, I tell him to shut the pull himself up by his bootstraps, okay? This is America. Anybody can make it. If you just pick yourself up by your bootstraps, they get so mad.
Just want to be careful about just saying that quiet quitting is the Gen Zs and the Gen Ys. I think that it can be happening all over the place. And the more we stay engaged and connected and share our purpose, the less of an issue disengagement will be. And then hopefully the quiet quitting term will start fading to the background, and we'll see both employees being productive and well engaged and employers being very successful.
Yeah, at my last job, they had a food table, and like my boss would buy us lunch every day, but like it wasn't, the money wasn't that great. And like I was treated like doo-doo, so I quit. I didn't quiet quit, I loudly quit. And I never been back, and I've been running my own life ever since. And like you could too, if you just find something that you're really good at and do that very well, okay? Don't quiet quit on yourself. And then maybe have like a part-time job that doesn't require too much effort, maybe something like a waiter, or I don't know, like do a service for somebody that doesn't require everything out of you, and just be human. You know, just do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because you think you're going to advance in your career, or I don't know, just do whatever you got to do. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to be happy, right? That's what everybody wants. And in order for everybody to be happy at their jobs, you got to start paying people more. You really do. And in order to do that, I feel like a lot of billionaires just got to let go a lot of their wealth. And I don't mean like pay more taxes. I mean like hire more people. Take a pay cut, you know, sell your stocks and then give it back to your employees as bonuses. Don't keep it to yourself. Things like that, you know, like I feel like that would bring back positive morale. People would want to go above and beyond for you because they see that you're also a good character. But at the end of the day, these new generations, like I said in the beginning, these are the generations that know better and still do the wrong thing. I guess the domestication is starting to wear off. You know, when I was 21 and I had a job in New York City. Okay, I had to go door to door convincing people to switch energy providers. And that job was hard as fuck, okay? But it made me into a really good salesman, and I developed such good characteristics. But what really intrigued me about that job more than anything is that it was commission-based only. Like, there was no hourly. Like, if I went out in that field, I went knocking door to door, and I didn't make a single sale that day, your boy wasn't eating that day, okay? So that was a problem. You best believe I was making them $300 days, okay? But before I got really good at that job, you know, my boss, the person that was training me, asked me, Yoel, what do we do at this job? And I said, we go door to door and do sales. And then she roasted me in front of the whole company. And she says, well, that explains why you can't land a single sale. I go, huh? We don't go door to door. We go business to business. And maybe if you carried yourself a little bit more with more self-respect, maybe you'll be able to land some sales. Yo, I came back that day with like 10 sales. And I was just so proud of myself. And that paycheck was humongo. And I was 21. But was I overworked? Yeah, best believe. But the money was good. So I was able to use that money and fund my dreams. You know, like I feel like it's a real life balance. Like you got to put in the work. Because if you don't put in the work, you can't do what you want to do regardless. So it's like, and when you put in the work and you get away from what you want to do regardless, you really start learning what you want to do. Because like, there is nothing of a better reminder of what you were supposed to do or what you feel magnetically attached to than doing something that you fucking hate. That's why you should always do things that are hard and that you don't want to do. So this way, the things that you do want to do come to you so easily. Just, you know, some of my life experiences. Hopefully you can learn from this knowledge. So what do you think? Are you going to quietly quit your job? I don't think you should unless you got something better lined up, or at least like 6 months worth of savings, right? Like that's what they say you should do. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to press like. My name is Yoel Grateful Silver, and you should watch this video next.